Local, state, and federal law enforcement officials just held a press conference in Orlando, announcing that 57 individuals were charged with illegal activity linked to a $300 million conspiracy orchestrated by allied veterans of the world. Law enforcement officials executed 57 arrest warrants in 23 Florida counties and 5 additional states for individuals involved in the allied veterans conspiracy. They did a great job in this investigation, and we appreciate their work. The joint law enforcement agency involved put out a press release with further details on this large investigation, and they can give you further information about this case. I have been periodically updated over the course of this investigation as it was determined appropriate by law enforcement. Out of respect to their process, that is all I will say about our knowledge of the timeline in this case. So let me repeat that. Out of respect for their process, that's all I'm going to talk about any knowledge I have about the case. Lieutenant Governor Jennifer Carroll consulted for this company in 2009 and 2010 when she was serving in the Florida House of Representatives. FDLE interviewed Lieutenant Governor Carroll yesterday related to her work for this company. Yesterday, Lieutenant Governor Carroll resigned in an effort to keep her former affiliation with the company from distracting from our efforts to help make sure we do the right thing for Florida families. I will not elaborate on the details of her resignation further, other than to say that she resigned and she did the right thing for the state and for her family. I appreciate the efforts she made on behalf of the great state of Florida. She was tireless. She put a lot of effort into military and to getting jobs going, and I'm very grateful for her service. I have asked Let's Get to Work and Rick Scott for governor to immediately identify any contributions from allied veterans or the affiliate companies named in this investigation. I want any funds from these groups to be immediately given to charity. I have zero tolerance for this kind of criminal activity, period. No tolerance. Additionally, we have seen reports that the Republican Party of Florida accepted $25,000 from allied veterans to fund inaugural events when I took office. The party has no record of that contribution. As to the future of the Lieutenant Governor position, Florida law provides that there be a Lieutenant Governor, that a Lieutenant Governor be in place. We will not turn our attention to this topic until after this session ends. We'll just say again, we're not going to put our attention on this issue of replacing the Lieutenant Governor until after the end of session. As you know, I have two very important issues this session. I want a $2,500 pay raise across the board for our classroom teachers, and I want to make sure we get rid of the sales tax for manufacturing equipment so we have more jobs. I'll be glad to answer anybody's questions.
Governor, do you believe the Lieutenant Governor broke the law?
I'm not going to talk about the investigation at all, but I have no knowledge that she broke the law.
When you look at her disclosure records, it shows that she, in fact, had them as a major employer for her consulting company, but in both of those years, she did not indicate how much she made. Why not?
You have to go back and talk to somebody else about that.
Gerald Bailey said in Orlando he anticipated the second wave of arrests would include elected officials. Do you have a feeling for how many? At what level?
No, I don't.
How disappointing was it to you personally what happened with Jennifer Carroll, sir?
Well, look, it's very disappointing to have to bring this news to you. My focus is, as you know, is getting our state back to work. That's why I want to focus on. That's what I'm going to go back to focusing on.
Should all internet cafes be closed down?
Look, I think with this news, everything's on the table. I look forward to working with the House and the Senate to review this, but I think that issue's on the table.
Would you support a statewide ban of internet cafes?
I think that issue's on the table. I want to work with the House and the Senate to see if that's something we ought to be doing.
When you say everything is regulation also on the table for these, or do they need to be gone?
I want to work with the House and the Senate, but I think everything's on the table right now.
Do you anticipate who you would choose as a Lieutenant Governor would be your running mate next year?
Well, look, I've got lots of people who are already interested in the job, but I'm not going to focus on that until after the end of the session.
Governor, is the resignation of the Lieutenant Governor something that you feel was important for you to help your re-election campaign?
Look, what I'm going to tell you is I'm disappointed after bringing you the news. Lieutenant Governor Jennifer Carroll resigned. She did the right thing for the state and her family.
Do you believe your campaign did an adequate job vetting Lieutenant Governor Carroll, and are you going to try to? What's your vetting process going to be this time around?
Well, here's what we know today. She was involved in a company that we know has been involved in criminal activity.
Was
How do you
Jennifer
feel that
Carroll going to be
Florida-
your running mate next year?
I mean, it doesn't matter what I talk about now about that. But
What type of qualities are you looking for in the next lieutenant governor?
well, I think whenever you pick a lieutenant governor, you want somebody that can do the job, somebody that can do the right things for the state of Florida.
Last
Do
one.
you anticipate she will be indicted?
I have no.
Governor
Thank
Scott.
you.
Gerald Bailey wouldn't rule
Thanks.
that out,
Thank
sir.
you.
Guys.